Today it's all about fades, baby.
This is a quick Ableton tip.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new installment of Quick Ableton Tips. My name is Jordan, and today what we're going to be talking about is fades, or a few of the different ways that you can fade regions together in Ableton. Now, I've got a little track going. It sounds like this. Yeah, so it's a little post-punk-ish, a little emo-ish kind of, guitar track. And I thought we would use this to demonstrate a couple of the different ways that we can fade regions in Ableton. Now, the way that I think most people are used to, or the most common way that I think people understand fades in Ableton, are at the beginnings and ends of different regions. So if we grab one of these little block guys at the beginning of any region and we drag it to the right, you will see that we instantiate a fade at the beginning, and we can do the same thing at the end. And so you can see here I've got these regions faded together at the beginning and at the end. Another very common way that we can fade regions in Ableton is using what are called crossfades. Another typical way that you might crossfade in Ableton is to do the same thing in grabbing the beginning of a particular region as it sits next to another and just dragging into that other region. So you can see here I am grabbing one of these little fade blocks up here and I'm dragging to the left, and that is instantiating a crossfade. Now, another way that we can crossfade that not a lot of people know about is by highlighting across a split section of two different regions. So you can see here I've got a highlighted section and there's a split in between. And if we hit Option Command F, it will crossfade those two regions together. Now, in this case, what it's doing is it's crossfading with the amount of each region that it has to work with. So you can see that it is crossfaded to the left of our main region because there was more of that region on the left to use to crossfade than there was on the right. So that's another typical way that we can fade regions in Ableton. My favorite, however, is actually batch fading. Yes, you may not know this, but Ableton has the ability to batch fade multiple regions together, and I'll show you how this works. It's actually exactly the same as a regular crossfade, only what we do is we highlight multiple regions. So in this bass part, if we zoom in, you can see I've got multiple splits in each of the sections of the part. And if I wanted to fade all those together, you'd be going through and kind of manually crossfading them all one by one. But what we can do, which is much faster, is just highlight the entire track itself with all of the split regions inside that highlighted portion and do that same key command, Option Command F, and you can see that it is now done microfades in between each one of these regions. And you can go in and tailor these to the track itself, depending on where you've recorded, where, different parts of the region overlap with each other. You can go in and tailor the fades to your specific performance or your specific track. But this is really, really handy if you are doing something like editing drums in Ableton. I know for myself, a lot of the time when I edit drums, I will pick apart the different regions of each track and edit each region together so that we've got different parts of different takes, essentially what is known as comping. But then you would have to go through and fade all those regions. It is so much easier to just be able to highlight a whole whack of drum tracks that have regions touching each other, overlapping, and hit that fade command and at least start somewhere with a batch fade across the entire drum edit, as opposed to going through and having to do them all manually. So these are just a few of the ways that I like to use fades in Ableton. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you can be notified when more videos like this come out. My name is Jordan. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you soon.